To the world we all know, which may or may not be the best world possible, once again springtime had come. But all the magic of spring was not enough to conceal the misery of Manor Farm. Once thriving and fruitful, the farm and its owner, Mr. Jones, had fallen on evil days. Beset by problems of his own making, Mr. Jones had turned to drink. And for his misery, he had found poor company. On the evening our story begins, it was later than usual when Mr. Jones came home from his drinking to make his rounds.
Good for nothing beasts. Eat their heads off.
On this night, all the animals had agreed that as soon as Mr. Jones was in bed, they would gather in the main barn for a secret meeting called by Old Major, the prize boar hog, who because of his years was regarded as by far the wisest of the animals. The other pigs started first for the meeting, being clever and fond of taking the lead. They were followed by Boxer, largest and strongest of the horses, and his devoted friend, Benjamin, the donkey. All the other animals, great and small, were anxious to get there, for such a meeting had never been held before. Old Major had been ailing, and now he had made known there were some things he wanted to say to his fellow animals before it might be too late. It took a while for all to find their seats. The pigs had taken up the best positions immediately in front of the platform. Among them, Snowball, determined to get a good view. And Napoleon, equally determined and even less polite. What was that? No. No, it wasn't Mr. Jones. And at last, everyone could be settled to hear Old Major.
My dear friends, I have lived a long life. I have had much time for thought as I lay alone in my stall. I won't be with you much longer. And before I die, there's something I want to tell you. Few of us will ever know the blessings of a peaceful old age. You, boxer, when you have given the last of your great strength, what then? Whatever we produce is taken from us, stolen from us, and sold. Our children are born to cold and hunger. Look at them while you can. You porkers, do you know what the future holds for you? Do we deserve such a fate? Is this farm too poor to support us all? No, comrades. When a farm is rich, but we'll never get our rightful share from Farmer Jones. Overthrow this evil tyrant, and we shall be rich and free.
Courage! Revolt!
But remember, when you have got rid of Jones, don't adopt his vices. We animals are brothers, large or small, clever or simple, fur or feathers. Now and forever, all animals are equal.
The very next morning, sooner perhaps than old Major would have predicted, the animals found their situation quite unbearable. And so, almost before they realized it, the animals had fought and won. They had casualties to mourn, and those who died left children to be cared for. But Manor Farm was theirs, and they lost no time in destroying everything that reminded them of hateful Mr. Jones. When it came to Mr. Jones's house, the animals hesitated. Napoleon showed the way, but Snowball took the lead in entering the place where their tyrant had lived. The animals were all agreed that Jones's house was no place for them. All, that is, except Napoleon. Meantime, Snowball led the other animals in organizing a new society, which they now named Animal Farm. So that all might see and agree, the laws of Animal Farm were inscribed in a prominent place, to be remembered and obeyed forever.
No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Wings count as legs.
No animal shall kill another animal. All animals are equal.
Tending farm by themselves posed problems for the animals, but the pigs could think of a way around every difficulty. Boxer was the admiration of everybody. He had been a hard worker in Jones's time, but now he seemed more like 3 horses in one. Instructed by Snowball, other animals worked out the rest for themselves, and the farm work was done like magic. The success of their efforts delighted everyone, including sly Napoleon and his constant companion, fat pink Squealer. That summer, the animals, without any help or any interference, made a going proposition of Animal Farm. The fields yielded richly, and they were cut and gleaned with diligence and devotion. With the harvest safely home, the animals had time to think of the future. And at a meeting in the big barn, many resolutions were put forward. It was always the pigs who made the resolutions.
Comrades, our first 5 months plan is a farm-wide triumph. And the time has come to spread the glorious news so that our downtrodden comrades on other farms will break their chains and join the animal revolution. Go! Tell the wonders of Animal Farm to the world!
Some animals, content with their lot, were unimpressed by tales of peace and plenty. Others, happy in their own surroundings, were alarmed at the thought of any change. But wherever they were having a bad time, animals listened with interest. In certain quarters, the rebellious behavior of a lot of dumb animals caused indignation and much conversation. But nothing was done about it, for the drunken Mr. Jones and his cronies did not know what to do. Snowball felt that education was the animals' next necessity. Some of the animals were brighter than others, of course.
B! C! D!
Snowball set himself to solve the problem of power on the farm. And so did Napoleon. In January, there came bitterly hard weather. Inexperienced management brought shortages to Animal Farm. But Snowball continued his thinking for the future. And in such thoughts, he was not alone.
Comrades, I have prepared a new plan for Animal Farm. Here it is. All it needs is your vote. At first, we will have to work more and eat less. But my plan will bring us electricity. It will mean a warm barn in winter. A light in every stall. Sty at roost. Luxury for all. Comrades, in one short year, Animal Farm will be the finest in the world.
Dreams, dreams.
A vote for my plan is a vote for the life beautiful.
It's a lie.
I'll promise you a 4-day week.
Bosh!
Perhaps a 3-day week.
Nonsense!
A 1-day week.
With Snowball disposed of, Napoleon stepped up confidently to take charge of Animal Farm, and Fat Pink Squealer became his obedient follower and assistant.
Comrades, Snowball is a traitor. What was he really planning? To bring back Jones. Now, let's have no more of these useless meetings. Eh? From now on, I'll protect your interests. And I'll make your decisions. Let me show you my plan for Animal Farm.
Hooray! For Napoleon!
And so the windmill was started after all. Nothing could have been achieved without Boxer, whose strength was greater than that of all the other animals put together. Superintended by the pigs, all the animals worked long shifts which lasted from dawn till dusk. Rations were shortened for the workers, but the pigs, by virtue of their brain work, were plentifully provided for. But the greatest inspiration came from Boxer, who, with his friend Benjamin, worked early and late, in season and out. One evening, after working long and late, as usual, Boxer and Benjamin made a curious discovery. Word of what now went on at night in Jones's house spread quickly through Animal Farm. Some of the animals thought they remembered a law against beds, but obviously they were mistaken. And now, other changes in the laws of Animal Farm were in store.
Those ungrateful beasts of yours. Cheer up. This won't last. Another winter will bring them to their knees. Anyway, where are they gonna buy the things they need?
In Mr. Jones's circle, the subject of shortages at Animal Farm was a popular one. And a sharp trader named Whymper was just the sort to do something about it.
Comrades, our leader, as wise as he's beloved, has decided to trade with the outside world. Not for gain, of course. That would be unworthy of our noble principles. You, hens, are to have the honor of making the first contribution, all your eggs. I know how proud you are of this privilege.
The chickens seemed to remember old Major saying that their eggs should never be taken from them. The innocent suffered with the guilty, and the chickens' uprising was short-lived.
Comrades, I have made a terrible discovery. There are traitors among us. Yes, comrades. In league with Jones and Snowball. To destroy Animal Farm. Who else is guilty? Stand up and confess! Is now complete. We have no more use for that song. Singing it is now forbidden, under penalty of death.
Trade between Animal Farm and the outer world now became quite brisk. As might be expected, Mr. Whymper's profits inspired others to seek their share, or at least give vent to their jealousy.
Animal Farm seems to be making money. For Whymper. Who ever heard of animals running a farm?
Have you seen a windmill?
Come on, let's kick him out.
Yes, kick him out.
The original owner was not invited to join this movement. His neighbors let him know his day was done.
Comrades, the enemy has mobilized all his forces against us. We must save Animal Farm from the hateful enemy. At all costs, we animals. Time to fight! To die for Animal Farm! Let us show them all! The Animal Farm is strong!
Now began the heartbreaking job of rebuilding. And as before, Boxer and Benjamin worked hardest of all. By now, supervision of the work by pigs was hardly necessary, so they had time for less laborious pursuits. Long after the other animals left the job, Boxer and Benjamin worked on and on, giving their all, year in, year out. A new generation of pigs grew up, endowed with what were considered arts and graces very flattering to Animal Farm and its presiding genius. But still the windmill was not finished, and Boxer's injured foot got worse instead of better. It looked as though Boxer were dead, but he wasn't. Not quite.
Boxer's hurt bad. He'll never work again. What do we do?
While Napoleon and Squealer made plans for Boxer, Benjamin predicted he could look forward to a well-earned rest and retirement. Next day, the windmill work went on as usual, but now without Boxer. And during the morning, what appeared to be an ambulance arrived. Only Benjamin suspected it wasn't an ambulance. The other animals finally recognized the death wagon from Mr. Whymper's glue factory.
I was with him right to the end. His last words were, "Forward, comrades! Long live Napoleon!" As for the wicked rumor that Boxer was sold to a glue factory, our beloved leader would never do that. Long live Napoleon! Long live Napoleon!
And that night, the pigs drank to Boxer's memory in the whiskey they had bought with Boxer's life. Years passed. The seasons came and went. The short animal lives fled by. The completed windmill stood as a monument to its builder's faith and sacrifice. But the animal's revolution was only dimly remembered. Outwardly, Animal Farm appeared prosperous, but the animals themselves were no better off, with the exception of the pigs and their supreme leader, Napoleon. His pig-run enterprise now had many of the frills of real civilization. And one fine day, pig delegates from far and wide arrived at Animal Farm to celebrate the coming of a new era. When reports of this great change reached them, other animals everywhere were incredulous. Dismayed and indignant, they headed toward Animal Farm from all directions, instinctively uniting once again in common cause.
On farms owned and operated by pigs, there is order and discipline. Our lower animals do more work and eat less than on other farms. This will encourage you to make your lower animals work even harder and eat even less. To a greater Animal Farm. To peace and plenty under pig rule. into the day when pigs own and operate farms everywhere.
To the animals, it now seemed that their world, which may or may not someday become a happy place to live in, was worse than ever for ordinary creatures. And another moment had come when they must do something about it.
英国作家乔治·奥威尔于1944年初完成了《动物农场》，这本有着童话的外表却与现实世界密切相关的薄薄小书出版以后，令奥威尔声誉鹊起。他和作者的另一部反乌托邦名作《1984》一起，为奥威尔成为20世纪最杰出的作家之一奠定了基石。因为《动物农场》让不少评论者把奥威尔跟英国讽刺文学大师乔纳森·斯威夫特相提并论。后者的《格列佛游记》也是我们耳熟能详的名著，同样是貌似童话，同样对当时的政治进行了辛辣的讽刺。我们可以看到，奥威尔的一生及写作都与政治紧密相连。在后来总结自己的写作时，他坦然承认，过去的全部10年中，我最想做的就是把政治性写作变成一种艺术。奥威尔时常流露出一种政治上幼稚的特点，经常凭冲动行事。他的一生在政治上也有过曲折的发展道路，会根据自己的认识修正自己的政治观，所依据的是自己的良知。出生在殖民地小官员家庭的他，从小可以说是个帝国主义者。小学时，他写过充满帝国主义色彩的诗歌。从著名的伊顿中学毕业后，更是当上了维护大英帝国利益的殖民地警察。但是短暂的警察生涯把他变成了一个帝国主义的反对者，让他毅然辞去这份薪水不薄的工作。在社会底层和接近底层的状况下生活了几年后，最终他变成了一个社会主义者，却仍对当时流行的社会主义运动保留自己的看法，并不惮于表达自己的意见。我们看到的是一个从良知出发，对社会公正有着执着追求的人。用他的传记作者杰弗里·麦耶斯的话来总结，就是奥威尔在一个人心浮动、信仰不在的时代写作，为社会正义斗争过，并且相信最根本的是要拥有个人及政治上的正直品格。奥威尔写作《动物农场》以及后来的1984并非偶然。1937年，他从西班牙内战战场归来，让他的写作有了新目标。奥威尔1936年底去西班牙参战，本来是为了保卫共和政府所代表的民主政体，却目睹了左派内部的生死斗争。奥威尔死里逃生从西班牙回来，对苏联所控制的西班牙共和派表面上代表进步民主，却进行政治及人身迫害、思想控制的种种做法感到愤慨， 后来他也写了不少文章来揭露。上世纪20、30年代，当西方许多左翼知识分子对苏联抱以希望时，奥威尔通过自身经历以及对苏联的大清洗等一系列事件的了解，对斯大林治下的苏联之本质有了自己的判断。以童话形式写成的《动物农场》便是这种思想推动下的产物。人们会注意到其锋芒所向，首先是批评苏联。奥威尔在《动物农场》的乌克兰文译本中也这样承认：在过去的10年中，我一直相信，要想振兴社会主义运动，就必须打破苏联神话。除了这一点，本书的第二个主题就是他描写的被背叛的革命。的确，从有压迫就有反抗的角度出发，革命有其正义性，但历史上已有数不胜数的例子，让我们看到了革命有多么容易被异化，并为追求绝对权力的领袖所利用。推翻一个暴政的结果是经过短暂的蜜月期，又进入一个等级森严的暴政社会，统治者高高在上，不受约束，被统治者极度缺乏个体权利。在这方面，奥威尔触及的是一个普遍性的问题。他无疑是通过这么一部作品，向读者发出了一个意味深长的警告。谈完了《动物农场》的政治意义，也应该肯定这本书的文学价值。完成《动物农场》这本书之前，奥威尔早就形成了自己的写作风格，即气用花哨的词藻，文风平实有力，时时体现出作者的价值观及真诚。《动物农场》也是这样，它虽然篇幅不长，却作为童话、作为讽刺作品都堪称完美，并且经常被认为是英语的典范文本，成为学习的对象。因为《动物农场》的讽刺主题，奥威尔在完成写作后，最初在英国寻求出版时，由于正处于2战中的英国与苏联尚是盟国，所以《动物农场》显得有些不合时宜，出版也颇费周折，最终面世前被5家出版社拒过稿。而到1945年8月出版后，在冷战初露端倪的背景下，《动物农场》很快成为畅销书。后来随着冷战的全面开始，这本书更是和1984等书一起被用作冷战的宣传工具。结果在不少人眼里，让无论是奥威尔还是他的作品都和宣传牢牢挂上了钩。但是冷战已结束久矣，就连《动物农场》直接讽刺的对象苏联也早已灰飞烟灭。而奥威尔的这2本书至今流行不衰。上世纪末即将结束时，在兰登书屋的当代文库评选的20世纪100大英语小说中，奥威尔的这2本书接列单中。《动物农场》已被译成60多种文字，在中国也有不少知音。内地首次出版后的近20年来，至今已有了7、8个译本，其受欢迎程度可见一斑。这本书的出版之初，奥威尔在伦敦忙着去了一间又一间书店，将其从儿童读物搬到成人读物那边。如今我们知道，奥威尔是多虑了。我们读这本书应该不会忽略奥威尔在讲述一个动物童话的同时，向我们发出的郑重警告或者预言。在这个意义上，我们可以毫无保留地说，《动物农场》具有永恒的价值。